Welcome to FastFwd, episode number 1. My name's Kwame, Laryea. We'll be talking to some forward thinkers and inspirational people that I know. This show, we've got Teugels of webkick.co.uk. We'll be talking about some new ideas and about how to move the world forward and generally make it a better place. So if you like the show, go on to twitter.com/KWA_ME. Drop me a line, let me know what you think. If you've seen it, listen to it on iTunes, if you listen to iTunes, rate it, share it with your friends, let them know. So, yeah, this is the show, episode number 1. Let's roll.
Liquid means rewind, a gunshot means forward. Horses. Don't get Gup started on horses.
Gup started on horses?
Yes.
Is he horse mad?
Gup has spent so long pretending he has a horse fetish that I'm now starting to believe it might actually be true.
A horse fetish?
A horse fetish, yes.
Okay, so...
I'm pretty sure it's not true. Let's not start horrible rumours here.
I wouldn't want to. But, okay. Horse fetish. I mean, you'd probably... To get a real sort of horse fetish going on, what sort of things would you have to be into? It'd be like just a subscription to Horse and Hound, or you know.
Well,
do you have to have an actual horse to have a horse fetish?
I don't know. I suppose not.
Yeah.
I suppose not.
Because I think that you could have many people out there who maybe like to hang out at stables and look at horses, but they don't actually own a horse. They just...
Sounds a bit creepy when you put it like that.
Okay.
There are many 12-year-old girls who just love ponies and just love hanging around at stables, but now we put it in that context, it just sounds really...
I heard somebody say once that actually you stand no chance pleasing a woman who rides a horse because she spends so long with a large beast between that you are never going to
you'll never match that.
You'll never match that, the power of that, you know.
No.
You know, and it kind of makes sense actually. But I think it's pretty scary.
I'm very pleased I can't match the power of a horse. I wouldn't want to have that reputation of destroying people. I think it's not very nice.
I have 5,000 horsepower. You could say.
That must make a hell of a mess.
Oh, good gosh, no. It's funny how... it's funny how when you think about how cars are rated in power, it's like horsepowers. Only because people started off with horses.
Yeah. Or candle power light bulbs.
Yeah, exactly, candle power.
Or candle lumens, aren't they?
Lumens.
Based on candles.
But lumens are based on candle power.
Yeah.
Because you'd think that we'd be at a point now where we kind of go, right, okay, well, we can measure things differently. But I suppose having that link kind of still gives you a visual image. Like, something at 300 horsepower, you're kind of thinking, well, yeah, that's a lot of horses.
That is a lot of horses.
Imagine that many horses pulling a cart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm in a Ford KA that can barely make it up a hill. And a horse just saunters up and overtakes me.
Casually gallops up, you know.
And the rider thanks me for slowing down. And it's purely because my shitty little car can't get up the hill.
Don't worry, dude. I would floor it if I could, but it's just not happening.
I would tear off this hill with blazing dubstep, but the CD player's broken and the car's shit.
Oh gosh, I was borrowing my brother-in-law's car, and it's a little Renault Clio, and I just found there were certain places I just didn't want to drive to, like going to Winchester, for instance. There's a slip road, and it's so short that you need something with a bit of real oomph just to just floor it and just go in when you see the gap.
Yes. Yeah.
But this thing just doesn't do that.
No.
It just crawls away, and and you're like, Jesus, somebody is going to slam into me right now. Just go.
Yeah.
So most of the time, whenever I'd go through the country lanes because I didn't want to take on that slip road.
Just potter about. I know what you mean. My dad always buys a car with a big engine, and Mum's always, men and their engines and all this stuff, and their horses.
Men and motors.
Yeah.
Yes.
But my dad quite rightly says
Yeah.
it's good to have a powerful engine, not to cane it around everywhere, but
Yeah.
just to get out of spots of trouble.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you need to move out somewhere quickly.
Yeah. Braking's not an option. You
Yes.
need to accelerate it out of a situation
Exactly.
on the motorway or whatever, on a step
Yeah.
road. And it is handy.
Yeah. And that's what I think. That's what because we've obviously got the new motor, but that's what I miss about the Peugeot. It was a shitty little Peugeot. Sort of, well, it wasn't that shitty. It was all right. Like 1997 Peugeot turbo diesel. What I loved about it was it would just go.
So light as
floor
well,
it. Yes,
yeah.
like floor it. I'm off. Many times I'd have fun against like higher powered cars like BMWs or whatever. It wouldn't last. Yeah, well, for about 3 seconds, everything looked good, and then obviously it's just but up until we both hit like 70 or something. I could hold my own.
And then the BMW changed into second gear, and then it
yes,
took off to
exactly.
140.
And then I'm just like, I'm only playing,
Yeah,
just fucking about with you. I wasn't really gonna. I was just gonna let you go.
But it's all mad. I mean, we've talked so much about an automated transport system.
Yeah.
And to me, the idea of I think that's awesome. I think we should all be just driven around in a box, basically. And all boxes should be the same. I don't care what colour the box is. I don't care how big the engine is.
The only thing that you'd need would be you'd need to be able to specify if you had a family or something, or if you're you and one other. Maybe you might want to have a slightly smaller box. Or maybe you want a bigger box with more space to fit more people in.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Or a wheelchair compatible box.
Well, exactly. So these are various options you want, but the fact that you'd want a box because of this box has this badge on it, which has like 3 pointy spiky bits.
Yes.
And that makes it more important than this other box.
Yes.
Yes. That just strikes me as a little bit silly.
And I am such a snob as well because I love BMWs. I'm BMW mad, and I love the fact that the logo represents the aircraft engine which BMW originally used to make. But I'm not buying an aircraft engine. I'm buying a box. So it really shouldn't matter.
The irony of it is the fact that most of the car companies have all kind of consolidated anyway. So you're buying for me the funniest one is. If you buy a Skoda, you're buying a Volkswagen, essentially, because they're based on the same floor pan, the same. They tend to be the same engine block, and just essentially a lot of it is the same base.
Yes.
And then they just bolt on other flowery stuff on top of that, and by the end of it, stick on a badge, spray it a little different, and you're like, this one is a Skoda.
Yes.
Octavia. This one is a Volkswagen Passat. It's a totally different car, darling. You know.
You do. It's the same guts underneath, and then they just hand it to different marketing departments to change the shape and the.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
same with washing machines and ovens and fridges and
exactly.
It's all the microwaves. Yeah. It's all the same.
But the fact that it's all kind of the stratification of it is pointless. All you want is. In fact, even if they were to treat it like this, okay, let's say we don't leap too far ahead. The ideal, I'll get to that in a second, it would be like stuff like solar roadways, but that's the good stuff near the middle. So let's say we go for what Google have gone for at the moment, which is the autonomous vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you have a system where every single vehicle is autonomous.
and you don't have to own your own vehicle. You can just check it out.
Yeah.
And so you can decide, right? Okay, well, I'm a family of 5, and we need to check out something that's something that'll fit all of us.
Yeah.
So an MPV or type vehicle. So you'll have one of something like that. I'll come round, pick you up, drop you where you want to go. Car can go over and do its thing. You can check it back out if you need it.
Yeah.
All you need is for every single one of those to be made to the best possible spec. Because it doesn't matter now. Because you can check out whatever. Why do you need to have? Because it's not going to be yours.
No, there's no ownership.
There's no ownership.
No. Exactly.
So, essentially, what you need is you need every single one of them to be as best they can, so that they don't break down.
Yes.
Because I think the best point I've heard made is that if, you can be driving a Mercedes-Benz, or you can be driving a Rolls-Royce, right? But if somebody is driving a shitty Ford Capri and their brakes go and they slam into you,
it doesn't matter what you're
driving. Doesn't matter what you're doesn't matter what you're driving. The result is still the same, basically.
Yes.
So ideally, even if you're going to be selfish about it, your own self-interest, you should hope that everybody's cars or whatever is at the same level of the same operational level as yours is, basically.
Yeah, and ideally autonomous, so it doesn't slam into you
in the first place. Exactly.
And the idea of it's always struck me as odd, the fact that I spend, I don't know, if I've got a good income, I could spend 20-30 grand on a car that takes me to work. I spend 10 minutes in it in the morning, and then it sits outside the office for 8 hours doing nothing.
That is ridiculous.
And then 10 minutes driving home, and then it sits all night in the driveway doing nothing.
Rusting.
Why? Yeah. Why? Just losing value, losing money. That's all.
Yeah,
exactly. Just sits there and does that.
It's serious. It's for me the lack of efficiency, the inefficiency of it all is what I find just it's absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Because it's literally sits in a drive. Oh no, but either you sit in traffic for, a good 40 minutes to an hour on average for the average person.
Because no one can drive.
Exactly. Because no one can drive and people shouldn't be on the road anyway.
No.
I
should not be in control of a vehicle. The fact that both of us are just, we can't even get the words out.
I know, it's the fact that human beings, with all our fallibilities, I feel like it's perfectly fine to stick us behind a wheel of like 1.5 tons of metal, hurtling through space and time at over 70 miles per hour. With just like feet, like 1.5 foot away from another car, which is also another 1.5 tons of solid metal, hurtling the other way.
And I'm playing with the radio and trying to. She's doing her makeup in the mirror and the
making a phone call, picking his nose, smoking a fag, and thinking about what sort of day they're gonna have at work, or coming from a hangover from last night. And you're just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm surprised that it all holds together. I think the thing one of the things that struck me I wasn't in my teens actually, it was kind of in my early 20s. I had a bit of an epiphany where I realised, oh, actually, you know what? I'm surprised everything more people aren't dying, because we're on a verge of chaos at all times. It's literally it's like you're dancing on this blade. On one side you've got impending doom, and the other side you've got disaster, and we just managed to skirt along this blade, like all 7 billion of us. Well, some go into impending doom and disaster, but most of us are managing to skirt this, tightrope.
I've had so many near-death experiences on the road.
Oh my gosh.
Through other people's stupidity and my own stupidity.
Oh yeah, precisely. I've done many stupid things.
Yeah,
I've done some ridiculous stupid things. And even sometimes it's not even it's not even intentional. It's just the way the brain works. You can be because they say, okay, in order to drive well, it's all about confidence, behind the wheel. Now, there can be sometimes an odd occasion where your confidence just falters for a second, and you hesitate.
Yeah.
And sometimes that could result in disaster. I mean, I've had a couple of times where I've just kind of misjudged. I've gone, right, well, I can make that roundabout. Oh, no, I can't.
Yeah.
And then I've ended up like halfway in the road, thinking, shit, that was close. Yeah. As the car whizzes by, and I can feel, my hair blowing its exhaust fumes. But it's a strange thing, that. But it's nonsensical. Really, we need to assign this to task to computers.
Exactly.
Because
it's something that has to be done right every time. It's a repetitive task, and it's a programmable, understandable system.
Yeah.
Why are we still doing it? That doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand. We've got the technology and we've got everything to just make it an autonomous system that just does it, and it runs a transport network, and it gets me to where I want to go quickly and safely.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Imagine the beauty in being able to work late, you're tired, and you're like, oh great, I really don't know whether I can handle driving right now. However, I can just sit in this car and it'll just take me home, and I can just get out, Or even the beauty for a lot of people, not me per se, because I don't really drink. I drink sometimes, and I know you do it yourself. But imagine being able to go out, get wasted, go out to a party, wherever, and jump into an autonomous car, takes you back home.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to worry about having people who kind of go, you know what, I think I could do this.
Yeah.
It's fine, I've done this many times.
Yeah.
And then,
I only drank 3/4 of the bottle of vodka, so I can still drive.
Exactly, But it's just, it opens up all sorts of possibilities for just freeing you up.
Yeah, the time you'd save is immense, and you can just do other stuff in the box. You've got iPads, you've got data everywhere now, you've got consumption of media, anything interesting. Don't drive anymore. It's nice.
I know. It's well. This is the thing. In fact, this the point I really wanted to actually bring up with you while you're here is this comment that I've been hearing from a lot of people, that human beings are inherently lazy. And I just thought, what? Okay, why are you saying this? This is just completely nonsensical.
I wish you hadn't, because you said this on the phone to me earlier on.
I know. I mentioned it earlier.
The plot, and
I know. I tried to stop before
over the phone.
But I know.
But I can't repeat that now.
You can't repeat that.
I've already heard it.
But it's exactly.
But I was upset when I heard it.
I'm still upset. I'm always upset when I hear it.
It is.
It's and the funny thing is that I heard it, in fact, just the other weekend, from one of the people I least expect to hear it out of, was my German mum. She's very clued up. But she said this, and I wanted to challenge her on it, but we get caught up in long, drawn-out conversations, and by that time I'd lost the flow of getting back to that point. We're on to something else. I think we're on to the whole Bernie Madoff thing. But anyway.
What a guy.
Exactly. Great guy.
You're my hero.
But I think the point I was kind of trying to tie this back to is, when you spend 8 hours of your day kind of tied to a desk, and then you have to commute for an hour in the morning, an hour back at night or whatever. The average person, I'm quite lucky. I get away with not having to do that, but that's like 10 hours. 10 hours of your day, 10 hours of your
At
daylight
least.
hours, basically, just taken up with commuting and working on something that you may not necessarily have chosen.
No. It ultimately is working on other people's stuff.
Yes, other people's stuff. Okay. When you stop doing that, the first thing your body's going to do is like, right, let's shut this shit off.
Yeah. Well, you're exhausted. I mean, doing that for 12 hours minimum. If you're committed and you're ambitious, that's 16 hours a day probably.
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
That stuff. At the end of that, you are exhausted.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically and spiritually, you're drained. You're
exactly.
ruined. So if I now left my job, if today was my last day working, I would be lazy. You're right, because I've been sucked dry for 15 years.
You know. Well, in fact, because you don't. For me, the balance always is ridiculous. It still doesn't make sense to me that. Because in the 50s, the idea was that we'll have technology, it'll make things quicker and easier, and we can reduce the work hours, and people work less, or more leisure time. It has gone completely the other way.
It's the other way.
But we've got more technology.
So much more is expected of us through productivity.
Exactly. It's almost like productivity's gone... Well, expected productivity's gone up. Mm-hmm. Productivity has gone up. Yep. Technology has gone up. But everything's just gone up. And it's the
cost of living's gone up. Wages haven't gone up.
Yeah.
Exactly. The manufacturing prices have gone down.
Yeah. So essentially, I mean, the expected sort of lifestyle of kind of having more time and just more leisure time and not having to work as much, reduce working hours, hasn't materialised simply because of the fact that once technology improved and productivity went up, those who run the corporations thought, well, this is great.
Yes,
we could push it up even more.
Yes, they do. They push it up even more, and then, but more people get in, and there's more competition now, and marketplaces are crowded, and prices are going down, and it's all none of it's working in favour of the worker.
Yeah,
I don't think.
No, far from. It's almost like but then when you get that, then the byproduct of that is a worker who literally then you could essentially take the worker out of that role and just replace him with a machine.
Yes.
Because that's what you're reducing the worker down to.
Yes. Which which is actually a wonderful goal to have.
Yeah.
But if you tell any person on the street that you can replace them with a computer, they'll get very annoyed.
Yes. You couldn't do that.
I'll lose my livelihood, I'll lose my work, I'll lose I'll lose someone else having 12 hours of my day. As if that's a bad thing.
Exactly.
Which it is in the monetary system.
Well, exactly. Within the monetary, because the point we need to get to is realise that actually it's not the job that we need. Is the access to things that the income gives us. Yeah. Which is the root of it. And until that realisation is made, it just becomes a matter of running around in circles, thinking, well, in order to live, I need to make more, and then, but cost of everything's gone up, so I need to make even more. Yeah. And it's constantly chasing this tail.
Yes.
And going around the circle.
That's exactly what it is.
And then at the end of it, you just kind of go, I don't want to do anything anymore. I just want to sit here and watch telly and not do anything, and not think. I don't want to think. I'm not thinking all day.
Exactly, which means as people in our own time, we get nothing done for ourselves.
Exactly.
Nothing or very little.
And
but I find in that I can kind of see the perspective of people would be lazy if they didn't have anything to do. Sure, I'd be lazy for the first few weeks probably, just to recover, recharging my batteries. But like when you go on holiday for 3 weeks, sure, the first week and a half is amazing. Yeah. Doing nothing, but then you start getting itchy feet. You're thinking, well, what can I do actually? Hold on. And that's when you start digging out that old novel you started writing 10 years ago, or
the sketch pad, or
the music you were producing, or stuff like that. People are, I think, naturally creative, and they want to make things.
Well, they want to do things. It's just the process of not having the time to do that then means it gets pushed to the back bench.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think in the long run, some people come out of it actually not realising what they like doing.
Yeah. Yes.
Or kind of postponing the awesome things they could be doing until much later on in life. There's a video I saw. It's this I might have sent it to you actually. It's this developer, the C++ developer, who automated his house. in the States.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you did send me that.
Yes, and also, and basically, when he was describing his story, it was basically he had, I think their employers had changed the lighting or something, and they messed with his head, and he had decided, right, that's it, I don't do this anymore, and kind of walked out and then built this house over the course of years, and now automated. And when I look at the house, it's awesome. The ideas in there, I think are genius. That's how I think that's the template of how houses should be built. I mean, a house with central locking. Come on, that's genius. Let's get better than that. You know, but I think imagine if that hadn't happened and he had stayed. You know, and he'd probably been thinking all the time in the back of his mind, oh, one day I'm going to go and I'm going to do this, I'm going to build this, and you know, maybe when he's like, I don't know, 70 or 75.
When he's finished filling in TPS reports.
That's it, with in triplicate. Don't forget to file the cover sheet.
Yes, I got the memo.
Yeah, he got the memo. Yeah. So imagine the loss. You know, having this. I mean, this concept hasn't. You know, it hasn't kicked off a revolution yet, but it's only a matter of time. Because that's the thing about ideas. Once they're out there, you can't really stop them.
No.
So who knows? In like 10 years' time, somebody's going to see that video. In fact, it may have happened already. You know, I'm just being a bit conservative with my estimations here. But somebody can see that video and go, this is great. You know, I'm going to develop a whole sort of, you know, estate with houses which are built to this level, which are all self-sustaining, self-generating plants.
Yeah. Or the kind of the flat pack housing you can buy from...
Oh, God. I
can't even remember where it's from.
There's a few of them. There's like the Huff House. Huff House do one. You've got there's a Swedish one, but I can't remember what the company's called. There are a few different ones. Yeah. They come out from what I remember. They're about 50 grand for the flat pack itself.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. It's about 50 grand for that, and then obviously you've got the land. The land is the key.
Especially in the UK.
In
that's
the UK,
our biggest
yes.
problem.
And when you think about it, it makes sense because it's such a small island that land is bound to be scarce.
Yeah.
Ironically, it isn't, because you look around, there's so much land everywhere.
Yes.
But the notion of it is that it's scarce.
Yeah.
Therefore, the prices must be through the roof.
Yeah.
Which they inevitably are.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, so the land, the house, and then obviously the build. I think if you could get a plot of land for under 100 grand, you could actually get away with putting up a pretty cheap house.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because this ideally what would be great is to get a plot of land, get a flat pack, and then have enough left over so you can get some either panels and a turbine, I reckon.
I mean, it'd be great if, as you said, once that idea develops, that the flat pack housing with all this stuff included is available. That's kind of the ideal thing, isn't it? You buy it, you put it up, plug it in.
Exactly, yeah, well, it's plug and play, basically. In fact, that's not a bad idea, actually. Imagine.
So that's your next company.
Yeah, my next company is basically flat pack houses, but with all these bits already bolted in. So all the doors will have the solenoids, and all you need to do is hook them up, connect your cables up, connect it all to a central panel, and then you can lock it from one place. Solar panels will come in already embedded in the roof. Mm-hmm. So the panels of the roof just go on, and then everything just plugs in a central conduit. Then what do you need? You need a turbine as well.
All sorts of stuff. Water processing.
Yeah.
But no, a good project. I think.
Yeah, that's an interesting project actually. Right. Oh, okay. Right. Well, I'm going to get
design.
Yes.
No more podcasts.
Yes. Sorry, I'm going to switch off now. But yeah, because when we're talking about the cars as well, it's just but now I think now we've got information everywhere. I mean, I'll admit it. I'm a self-confessed information junkie, basically, because I just can't help it. I just have to look at what's out there and explore, and my brain is constantly it's looking at the pieces. It's for me, it feels like one great big jigsaw. And the more I see, especially watching stuff like TED Talks, the more I see, the more I realise that actually everything could be so much better.
Yes.
Because it's not the fact that we don't know how to do it.
No.
The question is getting from the point where we've got all the information to do it, we've got the tools to do it. Now everybody needs to kind of go, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
Let's just start using these tools.
Yes, there's so much cool stuff we can't have because it's not commercially viable.
Oh, that term, commercially viable.
Look on your face.
I know. Yeah, no, I'll tell you, if I could find the person who came up with that term, I would slap them.
Yeah.
Some marketing dude or PR dude somewhere.
Well, the accountant probably. The bean counter.
The economist.
Yeah. Not commercially viable.
But even then, I mean, I keep thinking there's got to be a way, because let me just finish my point, because it just makes it ridiculous. Have you come across the solar roadways? You've probably seen that, haven't you?
Remind me.
Okay, these guys have got a project where they are building roads with solar panels, basically.
Okay.
So like they've already made prototypes, glass sheets, like super heavy duty glass sheets, panels underneath with LEDs embedded and everything. So what happens is that you've got miles and miles of roads, and what they do, they just passive bits of tarmac. They're catching light all day, so obviously all these roads they can just catch sunlight, and some of that energy can be piped off into storage units.
Okay.
They superconductors or battery centers or whatever, so people can charge their electric cars.
Okay.
And then some of the energy also powers LEDs embedded in the road. So instead of having traffic information put up on like signs or whatever, you can actually see it on the road itself.
Oh, bro. Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
That sounds cool.
You look at it and it's all, when you because they built a little short one, and you can see it when it's all lit up and the LEDs going on there. It is so cool. It's for me, it's like the future I've always dreamed of. When you watch shit like Blade Runner, or even like anime movies where you see all these really cool this is it. They've actually got it. It's there.
Oh, wow.
It's just right. Well, who's going to fund for all the roads to be ripped up and
no.
This is why we need to build cities from scratch.
Yes.
Just build it all in.
Well, even then, it's incredibly. I became obsessed with the idea of an autonomous road network. What was it, 4 years ago or so, I lost a friend in a car accident. It was his own fault. He was being stupid, but he was 18, doing what 18-year-olds do in a car.
18-year-olds in the car.
And ultimately, he became a statistic, and that was it.
Yeah.
But at that point, I thought, why the bloody hell are we still driving ourselves around in metal boxes?
Yeah.
It's a crap idea. What are the alternatives? And I kind of worked out the costs of an electromagnetic road network with autonomous vehicles.
Ooh, yes.
Not owned, but perhaps you paid £50 a month or something to have access to unlimited journeys on this road network.
Yeah.
And it would have cost trillions to install the road network in the UK. Never mind the US or Europe.
Oh gosh, exactly.
Just in the UK. And even then, you've got all the little roads, or the end of quite long roads, but with nothing except a little house at the end.
Yeah.
That would never get covered with this.
Well,
stuff.
exactly. Yeah.
So you've got to be dropped half a mile from your house in the sticks, and you've still got to walk the other. There are so many challenges there.
That's because, but dealing with the existing setup where cities and towns have none of them have really been planned. They've been planned at a basic level, but the rest has just been sprawling. It's
just
growth. Like, oh yeah. Well, we're gonna stick a house there. Oh well. What could we do? Oh, we just block of flats. We need to level that. Put a car park there because we need space for the cars. And so all of a sudden, everything is, for want of a better word, higgledy-piggledy.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, whereas you could go if you were to go right from the very beginning, go right. Okay, we need somewhere for, I don't know, 500,000 people to live. Right. How are we going to plan this? Because, ironically, I went to school in a place called Letchworth. It's called Letchworth Garden City, because they'd planned it as a garden city.
Okay.
Yeah, so the whole place, from infancy, from design, had been set up, so there'd be lots of green areas. The town was almost in the centre. It was almost a circular town.
Wow.
It was pretty cool. Not for kids, because kids get bored of being in quiet, green, leafy places. They want action, and we did. Because I was listening to hip hop at the time. I wanted to be in London most of the time. Yeah. But now I'm thinking it would be awesome to live there because of the way it's set up. It's really great for pedestrians. Like the main, there's one main Broadway which cuts straight through the town, and you've got bits of the town on either side. But there's a street there's a main street down the middle. Then you've got lots of trees all the way down. It's absolutely awesome. You've got super wide pavements for people to walk down. Like you have lots of people walking down these pavements that wouldn't bump into each other. So it's been designed in purposely for people.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was really easy to get around as a kid. And,
that sounds brilliant.
And drive around, find your way around, and everything. So when you design and plan things, you can make it efficient.
Yes.
When you don't, it just ends up a bit crap, really.
Yeah. That's the polite way of putting it. I remember I lived. I moved back in with my parents quite a while ago now.
Yeah.
And they just moved into a little village. And it was a new build estate tacked onto the side of this village, and it used to be a field, and now it was suddenly 300 houses, something like that. And I didn't realise until a bit later on the extent to which the villagers hated us for basically doubling the population of their village.
Of the village, yes.
And the developers and the companies that had done all this didn't work with the council or anything else or the village to provide any of the necessary services. So the moment 400 families descended, or however many houses there were,
the village was put under strain.
There was sewage flowing down the main street because they didn't have the sewage in place. They had to build another sewage plant, which took 3 months.
Oh my gosh! And
it was a mess. The school was oversubscribed.
Yeah.
The surgery couldn't cope with the place, so they built another surgery. Schools, they had new school buses to ship kids off to other surrounding villages and stuff. None of it was planned. Not any of it.
Oh my god!
And that was a.
That's like, what, like? But that's a small village with a development put on.
Yeah, well, just like 400 houses. Yeah, that's not
nothing. Like a city where a whole new area gets tacked on, and all of a sudden, the strain goes up.
Yeah.
And it's
amazing,
for me, it's the inefficiency. The inefficiency is just it's just maddening because things could be so efficient and so much better.
Yes.
But it's almost like, well, you couldn't do that. It'd be a centrally planned society. And everybody knows centrally planned societies don't work.
I still remember Alex Jones.
Oh gosh.
With that classic line, "I don't want to be educated by you." Well, buddy, you need to be educated by someone.
Who would you want to be educated by then?
Because you're a bit mental in your current state. You need to start listening and stop talking for a while.
It's a shame that, because a lot of me questioning how things worked some of that came in part by Alex Jones. Some of it came way before I came across Alex Jones. But he played a part in that. But
yes,
when it came to the point of solutions-based thinking, I just found him completely lacking. And I think that's what I find difficult now when I come across people who are discussing the potential issues. You don't know how much I was chomping at the bit when Occupy kicked off, because I was like, right, there's only one thing everybody needs to demand at the moment, and it might sound well, you might be thinking, one thing, really? But there is only one thing, and that is to actually declare all the resources as the common heritage of all the world's people. Once that's done, then it's like, right, well, hold on a second. Once that's done, what can you do now? Because nobody can start claiming ownership. Because everything is for everybody. Now, I've probably got a few people who are probably thinking, socialist scum, but if you think about it this way, when you're a baby, or even a child, you don't go downstairs and go, right, well, I'm claiming the fridge now. This part of the fridge is going to be my territory. I own this now. So, mother, if you want to come and get anything from the fridge, you have to pay me a small toll.
I think I probably tried to pull that one off as a kid, actually. I think I did that a couple of times.
I'm sure you get a quick slap around the chops and get sent up to your room.
Or like the cat on Red Dwarf. That's mine, that's mine, that's mine. Oh, shiny, that's mine.
Yeah. Exactly. I still, I mean, it might sound crazy, but I just keep thinking, everybody, I'm not from another planet. Well, not that I know anyway.
We're both from the same planet, whatever planet that is.
Exactly. As far as I'm concerned, I was born on this planet.
Yeah.
And like everybody else.
Yeah.
So, well, this planet is our home. Therefore, why is it that, like, the whole planet as a whole is all of our homes?
Yes.
So how can it be that this bit is somebody else's, just theirs, for them to do whatever the hell they feel like with? Yeah. Does that make sense?
It's odd.
It really kind of feels odd. It doesn't quite make sense.
It does feel odd.
Because, so there's certain areas that people have kind of gone, right, you can't claim oceans. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, if you can't claim oceans, why can you claim land? Really? I mean, are you actually going to, like, lift up chunks of land and take it with you somewhere? If and even if you wanted to, it's so inefficient. You're trapped in one place. Imagine if you could just kind of go, well, the world is my home, and the world's all of our homes. Right? So all the resources come from heritage of the world, all the world's people. Great. Okay, now let's tackle the important things. Let's make sure that everybody has food to eat. I think that's a good idea.
But that's a great next step. But the first step already is such a game-changing. What would the world look like if you suddenly declared everything belonged to everyone? That's... Yeah, I was teaching a class today, and I had 10, 16 to 18-year-olds. Yeah. And they were all intelligent, and I'm not just saying that. They're sharper than I am. They're quicker than I am. Yeah. That's not hard. But they were intelligent. They're intelligent kids. And we were talking about computers and information technology. Yeah. Torrents was a big one. Yeah. What do you mean I have to pay for music? Some of them were actually quite surprised that what they were doing was illegal with sharing music. Yeah. And I told them the story of Nikola Tesla and his invention of wireless energy, his theory of wireless energy, and how it wasn't commercially viable. There's this Marconi wasn't interested. He canned the project because there was no way.
Was it? Well, I thought it was Westinghouse actually, wasn't it?
Was it Westinghouse?
Oh, well, no, hold on. Westinghouse owned most of his patents afterwards. I think it was J.P. Morgan.
Was it Morgan?
Yeah, Morgan was financing him at the time, I think. and Morgan
was that pre-Marconi, because he ended up doing radio with Marconi afterwards, didn't he?
I assumed it was post Marconi, because that's when they did where he built the Wardenclyffe Tower, wasn't it?
Yes. Your history's a lot better than mine.
I think so, yeah. Okay. I think, because then they tore down the Wardenclyffe Tower, and I think it was from that point on that he was no longer getting his funding, and it started slowly plummeting downhill. And then I think Westinghouse then took control of his pay. I know that I know at his death, they pretty much seized all his paperwork.
Yes. My understanding was that was the American government stormed. They didn't storm, but they went into his labs in his house and took everything.
Because he was staying in a hotel room, I think, as well. Yeah, they just took
and locked it all up in a safe somewhere, never to be seen again.
Yeah, and
pretty much.
which is pretty bizarre. I'd be really interested to see what some of his research was, because
a lot of people would.
Well, yeah, of course, because the guy was so far ahead.
He was way ahead of his time, time. And so I was explaining that to these kids, the concept of wireless energy and how that was. Do you know the years? Because I can't remember.
I'm a bit rusty there. I'd assume it's the 1930s, I think. I might be wrong. This is where we want Google. Yeah. Carry on, and I'll quickly do a quick search.
Okay. Yes. Whatever year it was a long time ago. This concept of wireless energy. And I explained this to the kids in the classroom, and they were shocked by this. They'd never heard of any of this, and they were saying, well, why haven't we got wireless energy now? And I explained, because of the commercially viable bit, because there was no central control mechanism.
Exactly.
There was no billing mechanism. There was no money in it. The project got canned. And they said, why do you have to charge for it? Why isn't it free? And that's a good question. And I said, because it's such a game changer. The rich people wouldn't stay rich. The poor people
It's a complete paradigm shift.
It is a complete paradigm shift.
It transforms everything.
Yeah.
The way people think about ownership and
it evens the playing field a bit too much, perhaps. And suddenly they accepted it. They saw that, okay, we don't want to stop rich people being rich, or it's not quite the way it is, but you know what I mean? It's too much of a... People don't like change that much, therefore it's okay just to can the whole deal. And they accepted it, and they didn't ask any more questions after that, and I was a bit taken aback. I thought I was expected to be drilled on that for a good 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. They just accepted it, that's not how things were, so that's just what it is. Well, hold on, keep asking questions there.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Don't give up so easy.
Well, exactly, because nothing has to be just how it is, because nothing ever is.
No. Everything can change.
Everything changes all the time. That's one.
It does anyway.
That's the one constant.
Yeah.
And it's for me, it's painfully obvious, because I'm a person who absolutely I love change, and. In fact, sometimes I find it difficult. I mean, I think everybody finds it difficult. But, just the fact that that it'll come to a point where things that you thought used to be one way are no longer that way anymore. They're completely different. And I think that's why I kind of embrace science so much, because, the next 1 second, we've reached the limits of our knowledge. I think this is what, light works as a waveform. I think that's it. No, it doesn't. It works as a particle. No, and all of a sudden your knowledge has improved like tenfold. And even then, later on we're now at the point where we're thinking everything comes down to like strings of energy. It just the knowledge keeps going on. In fact, quickly back to your earlier point on Nikola Tesla. Wardenclyffe years were 1900 to 1917.
Okay, yeah.
1900.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's amazing. And how little have we progressed since.
So in 1900s, he was thinking about wireless energy.
Yeah.
I only watched a thing on a TED talk on it about 2 years ago, where they demonstrated wireless energy, and they were doing it it was only over a course of like, I don't know, 2 meters or something like that, where they transmitted this energy through the air to power like a light bulb or something like that. But if the 1900s, if we'd been allowed to run with it, where would we be now?
Yeah.
There'd be flying cars.
There would be. Oh, there'd be all sorts of stuff.
Gosh. I want to see flying cars. It's probably inefficient.
It wasn't you said, "Where's my flying car?" God damn it. I've been promised this since the 70s. It's been 40 years, and I'm still in a Fiesta.
I so want a flying car. I've thought about fly. When I was first thinking that I wanted to do product design, it was because I had this friend at school in India, and we all we used to do, well, not all we used to do, one of the things we used to do, grab sheets of paper and we draw futuristic cars. That's like our thing.
Awesome.
So we're just always thinking, and I remember once actually, I think at the age of 10 or something like that, maybe I should have been smarter than this, but this is what I thought of. Anyway, I first thought, okay, fine, right, I know what to do. If I put jet fuel in a car, I might be able to fly.
Nice.
Yeah, and I remember asking my dad about it actually. Say, could you make jet fuel work in a car? I can't remember what his answer was at the time, but I think inevitably at the end of that I realised that it wouldn't actually make it fly, and it may just break the engine. However, I did come up with another concept actually. I was thinking, well, okay, if you could get, this is later on in my teens actually, I was thinking if you could get a Harrier jump jet and you get its engine, because it's got those nozzles that allow, those directional nozzles that allow vertical takeoff and landing, and if you could somehow get that into a car, then you should be able to allow for vertical takeoff and landing.
Yes. Please, can we get autonomous vehicles before you start putting jet engines?
I don't think if we get to the point where we are making and developing flying cars, they have to be autonomous.
They have to be.
They have to be. It's without question. Humans cannot be allowed to drive flying cars.
No, a motorway is a pretty scary place at times.
Yes,
and
it is.
To think the sky would just be so much worse. And at any moment, a lorry could just land on your roof. No, that's a terrible idea.
Lorry. I don't know, that's a beautiful sight. I'd love to see a flying lorry. That would be so cool. But yeah, I think autonomous vehicles is, I have to say, for all the business practices that may be questionable that you get from Google, coming up with a Google car is definitely something that has forced the hand of humanity, because I think now the genie is out of the bottle on that one. You just can't put that one back.
Yes. Yeah. I think, like many, my relationship with Google is love-hate.
Yeah.
I love them because they push so many boundaries.
Yeah. And
I hate them because they're pushing so many boundaries that I don't want pushed.
Yeah.
So the technology they do is amazing. The search algorithms, the computing power, autonomous vehicles, all these great ideas and these wonderful ideas, but they're also pushing the boundaries of privacy, of data storage, of sharing information, of opening things up that I don't personally want opened up.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, let's just throw this out there. Actually, do you think we'll? Because it looks like we're heading that way, but don't you think we're going to get to a point where because there will be no privacy per se, nothing can be secret anymore. where in the end it's just going to actually have to just fold in on itself, where everything is just going to have to be open.
Yeah, yeah.
Because so from that perspective, sometimes I go, well, maybe it's not necessarily a bad thing, but then at the same time, I kind of know what you're saying. It feels like a very bad thing.
It does. From what I've read and from what I understand, privacy is quite a recent concept, and there never used to be any privacy anyway.
Yeah.
You'd live in a village with a couple of hundred people, and you all know each other.
Yeah.
You all know who you sleep with.
Yeah.
You know all this kind of. There was no privacy.
Exactly.
You know, back when telephones were first invented, the operator used to listen to every freaking phone call that went on.
Yeah.
You know, she'd just plug her headphones into whatever circuit she wanted, and would listen in and knew all the gossip of the local village. Only recently is privacy a concept, a thing.
Yeah.
But only recently do we have media scare stories. Only recently do we have this fear factor of the people next door. We don't talk to our neighbours anymore.
Well, exactly,
we almost become scared of them. We gossip about them. We wonder. Well, I don't. But people gossip about neighbours.
Yeah.
You know, oh, he never really talks to anyone. I think he's a bit weird.
Yeah.
And he's got a beard. Maybe he's a terrorist. Kind of. You know, attitude.
Terror.
I think we need to get. We need to get rid of all that stuff before we start opening up information again. Privacy is now an important part of protecting yourself against.
But I suppose also, I think one of the bits you failed to mention is that you've also got corporations using our privacy to sell us stuff, because they're learning about you as a person and what's your likes and dislikes, and using it to target stuff specifically at you, which as much as I love Google, this is part of their business plan.
Yes.
You know, they have their bots read through your emails.
Yeah.
And go, oh, what's he talking about?
That's horrifying.
You know, maybe you might like this advert, which, okay, it's clever. I will give them that. It's an impressive technical feat. But at the same time, it makes me feel slightly uneasy. You know, when I'm looking at my Gmail and an ad pops up and I'm like, how do you know what I'm reading?
Yes. Yeah. Well,
how do you know this email contains the word Ford Focus in it?
Yes. What scared me, and I'm actually I'm grabbing my phone here and waving it in anger. Right? my Android phone, which I love to bits, is dual core. It's better than my laptop. I love this thing. But it's, without me even really understanding what was going on, it sent all my contacts up to Google, to the cloud, to my Google contacts. Okay. To the point now where when I Google search something at the office, my friends' photos appear in search listings saying they like this website.
No way.
Yeah, way. So.
See, that's quite impressive technically.
Well, technically it's impressive, but then to see photos of my friends in my search results, I'm thinking, how on earth does Google know who my friends are? What websites they visit, and now it's showing it to me on a completely different machine on a different network.
Exactly, that's a bit worrying.
You know, it's crazy, and all that happened without me consciously accepting any of this. It just happened. You know, I'm sure I did.
Just out of curiosity, when you were searching, did you see my face come up next to like a site called Big Booties Are Us?
So you know what I'm talking about then. So no, it wasn't. It was Simon with Slashdot, I think, or something like that. You know, he plus one the thing. Yeah. Because he plus one it.
But then I see Facebook doing the same as well. They've been doing the same thing. I could, I go to a site and it'll be like, oh, I know that guy. He likes this. So,
that's interesting. I've uninstalled Facebook now because the recent app update on my phone wanted to get to my contacts. Yeah. And after the Google scare I had, I was just uninstall it just to get off. I know. You can't have my phone, but that's alarming abuse of information. Yeah. Is knowing who my networks are, and this is the big social graph thing, which is becoming pretty big. You know.
Well, it's like a big social cloud, and
so you touched the corporate side really well, and I think that we need to stop the abuse of information before we open up information. Yeah. If we can stop the abuse, I'm all for opening up information. I think everything should be open. I think that's great.
Yeah. Well, I think once everything is open, everybody will realise that we all pretty much do the same shit.
Yeah.
And
there's not really much point in hiding.
There's certain things I just think as I mean, yeah, I'm even guilty of it myself. But there's certain things I just think I don't know why we react that way to certain things, you know, because it's ridiculous. It's only natural, you know. Like if you were to, let's say you were to realise that, I don't know, like your dad watched porn or something like that. You know, your initial reaction might be, oh my gosh, you know, but in the end, he's human.
Yeah, it's like everyone does.
Exactly, everyone does.
Yeah.
It'd be like, well, what's the great big kerfuffle for, you know? Or, you know, sometimes, like, this funny thing, because, you know, being a person who likes to have the odd biff every now and again, you know, you kind of go, right, well, I feel like I'm probably the only one who smokes a spliff every now and again. However, you look around, and actually, if everybody was open about it, you probably think, sometimes I stand outside and I think, I'm sure that a couple of doors down here, there's somebody else who's having one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm coming up on opiates right now. And I'm not even kidding.
Excellent. Good stuff, opiates.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not bad.
They're a little bit more-ish, but, you know.
They are a bit of a hangover in the morning as well with it. But,
you know. But as long as you keep them up, you're alright.
Oh, don't say that to me. But you're right, you know, if everyone's open and honest about stuff, we start to realise, and we start to get almost a link back with our community. We realise how undifferent we really are. The bloke down the road with a beard isn't that weird after he's quite a nice bloke, actually.
You know.
You just never talk to him.
But this, I think, when it comes down to it, there's a sort of, like, the net has been a real sort of leveller, because that's kind of starting to bring that to a degree where we're starting to realise that actually, you know, everybody likes cats. We've established that. Yeah. Tim Berners-Lee is quite shocked. You know,
his invention has exploded the cat world.
Yeah, we've realised that actually everybody likes cats.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it? You know, I thought, you know, if you'd asked me at the beginning, let's treat it like a scientific experiment, I'd probably my hypothesis would have been, actually, no, I think people are more dog people, but it seems like most people like cats.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
So that's interesting, and you know, we've established that everybody likes porn.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. You know, everybody likes free stuff.
Yep.
We've established that as well.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody likes to tell other people what they're doing. In a weird,
bizarrely, yes.
Yeah. In a weird way, I think it's back to the fact that humans are social creatures.
Yes.
You know, as much as we've been told that we're individual creatures, we must be out for self-interest and self-interest alone, it's bollocks. We're social creatures. That is why, you know, even if you turn around and say, "Oh, you socialist scum for thinking that people should all look after each other and whatever," we are social creatures. Therefore, being a socialist may not actually be so bad after this, so long as it's not National Socialist.
You may hate all this socialist bollocks, but you can bet that you gather your friends around to bitch about it and do so in a very social manner.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you didn't, you'd be antisocial.
Yes. Which is a very lonely place to be.
Exactly.
I've tried it. It sucks.
But yeah, you know, it's always the same. It was also always the same. Everybody who claims, like, okay, say you've got, you'll have a group of people who claim, no, we must all be for a free market and whatever. Look out for number one, I read Ayn Rand and whatever. However, they've got a little social group of people who all believe the same thing and discuss among themselves.
Absolutely.
they're socialists.
Yeah. Yes.
You just need to know that.
Oh gosh, don't tell them. That'll drive them mental.
Excellent. So now that we've we've gone full circle now, we've ended up at socialism again, and we've realised that actually the only way forward for all of us is to be socialist.
It's funny actually. I don't really understand. It's not funny at all. It's a bit tragic. I don't really understand the meanings of all these words or.
You know, neither do I.
The labels of boxes that people fall in. If someone called me a socialist, I'd probably be offended, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it means. I don't know what they're calling me, but I just don't like the fact they're calling me something, and I don't know what it means.
The funny thing is that I don't think they know why they're calling you it either. It's because of a loose association. See, really, when you come down to it and you study language, and I think there are few people who discuss this, and it's just the use of language itself is what creates our ideas of things. So just using language in a specific way can end up with somebody getting perspective which is completely warped only because of a choice of words. You know, in fact, just a quick example as to how this works is like if you were to say, I want to know the truth, for instance, right? Well, that's wrong for starters, and I'll tell you why that's wrong, because there is no the truth. The suggests that there's only one truth.
Yes.
But there never is only one truth. There's a truth for you and there's a truth for me.
Yeah.
You know? And there's a truth for anybody else who might be in the vicinity.
Yeah. So
there's no one truth. There's not the truth.
No.
There's a truth, you know. And you know, the same goes for multiple. But that's just the word the. There are many other words that, you know, suggest same things. But I'm not going to go into that now because it's a full on topic all by itself. Because you've got terms like reaffirmation, so words that kind of confirm themselves, I think.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know what you mean.
Yes. But yeah, the language itself. I think we should tackle language on a.
I'd love to. I watched an excellent YouTube video about arguments.
Yes.
And how you state your. It's probably not even an argument. I'm probably using the wrong word here, but you state your argument, your point of view, your argument, and it's one that it falls into one of two categories, and the language you use, you know, dictates whether or not your argument is valid or invalid. You know, are you speaking from fact, or are you using an opinion? And it was very interesting, and it was a way in my mind to very quickly be able to distinguish, you know, a valid debate type question or opinion or argument versus the ignorant kind of trolling type question of people in the street who just, you know, drive you mental because you, for some reason, your brain twists into a tumour and you can't figure out what on earth to say back to them because it was such nonsense and drivel in the first place. You know?
Exactly.
And that was a great video on YouTube. So yeah, language is a wonderful topic.
It's definitely one of it's one of the most important ones actually, because it's what shapes our perspectives on everything.
Yeah. And
that's where these very terms come from, where these terms are now all loaded terms.
Yeah.
From, you know, the term conservative to a liberal to a socialist to a you know, to Republican or whatever. What do they mean? What do they?
I have no idea.
Do they? I mean, in the grand sense of it all, are people actually happy to have this one term define everything about them?
It's weird,
It's
isn't it?
ridiculous.
And like comments on the Daily Mail, which I now don't read anymore, just simple one-liners like, and he calls himself a conservative.
Was that even me?
I don't understand.
I'll tell you the one I hate the most though, and it's used for everyone, and that is consumer. I can't stand being labelled as consumer.
Really?
Yeah. Because I almost feel like it puts you in a specific position on this sort of imaginary pyramid where we're the providers and they're the consumers.
They're the consumers.
Yes.
Yes,
Come along,
consume. Come and consume.
Consume, yes.
Pay here,
yes.
pay here, pay.
Yeah, exactly. And I find it so detestable.
One thing I really hate is the pink pound.
Oh, the pink.
That drives me mental. I am not a target demographic.
I have to say, I find that term actually quite funny.
The pink pound. Unless you're trying to sell me cock, it's not relevant. It doesn't matter, does it?
It's one of those terms that I think sounds like is it onomatopoeia? Is it what's it when a term gives you like a visual image basically? Okay. I think it's an onomatopoeia. I'm not sure. But that's what the term pink pound comes to me. and I can't. It's one of those words that just makes me chuckle every time.
I hate it when slimy marketing people in a suit say we need to target pink pound.
But there's a great Bill Hicks gag actually, where I don't know whether you've heard it. I'm probably going to completely get this wrong and make it sound crap, but I'll try to remember as much of it. He has a rant on people who are in marketing, and he's like, if you're in marketing, go kill yourself. Oh. No, seriously, go kill yourself.
Yeah, not even kidding.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. He says, oh, I see where you're going for there. You're going for the anti-marketing pound. No. Seriously. Oh, you're going for that? And the fact that every single way you turn, they'll find some way of
twisting that into a target demographic. Oh, Bill Hicks is a genius.
Hicks is a genius. Yeah. Oh, gosh. The guy was great. Well, Al, this has been awesome. Should we bring this train back into his docks?
Yeah, sure. We've taken it out for a spin, see what it can do.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure how long we've been on for, but I think we've been on for probably about an hour and a half.
Have we?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that was an absolute pleasure. That flew by.
No, it did fly by. There's plenty more I could say.
We haven't even started.
This is just a warm up.
Excellent. I don't know who's going to want to listen to this drivel, but it was had fun recording it.
Yes, it's fun. It's entertaining. I'm going to put it out into the ether, and we'll see what happens. I'm sure somebody will find it interesting.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Email us if you find it interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't.
Yeah, don't. Listen to something else. Right.
Record means rewind, a gunshot means forward, 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 forward.